Hello and a very warm welcome. You're watching the Newshour Special Edition with me, Priya Bahl, this Sunday evening. Today, the biggest story of the day was the elevation of a former Supreme Court judge as the governor of Andhra Pradesh. A war of words broke out after the government decided to appoint retired SC Judge S. Abdul Nazeer, who was part of the 2019 Ayodhya verdict, as the governor of Andhra Pradesh. The opposition has trained its guns at the center, alleging that he has been rewarded for the rulings that he gave in favour of the Modi government. Here are the reactions.
It also raises so many questions of the independence of the judiciary. Judiciary should be absolutely independent, and people of the country should have confidence our judiciary is independent. According to one report, more than 60% retired judges, they get government job. It is unfortunate.
कि ऐसा तोहफा भविष्य में और कितने सुप्रीम कोर्ट के जजेस को बीजेपी आरएसएस की सरकार देने जा रही है। एक तरफ तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट को कंट्रोल करने में लॉ मिनिस्टर से लेके बीजेपी आरएसएस का जो हथकंडा है वो टाइट हो रहा है, जिसके चलते सुप्रीम कोर्ट के जज सड़क पे आके प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस कर रहा है। और अब जो फेवरेबल सरकारों के जो जजमेंट हैं उनको देने वालों को एक ऐसी नजीर पेश की जा रही है।
इंसाफ जब किया जाता है तो उसमें अपना पराया, ऊंच नीच, छोटा बड़ा, तेरा मेरा कुछ नहीं देखा जाता है। जस्टिस नजीर साहब को राज्यपाल बना दिया गया। अब सोशल मीडिया पे और बाकी जगह पे चल रहा है कि उनको उनके दो फैसलों के लिए, एक बाबरी मस्जिद पे जो फैसला आया उसके लिए, और दूसरा जो नोटबंदी पे उन्होंने क्लियरेंस और क्लीन चिट दी है उसके लिए।
And in order to bolster their argument, they even dug up some archives, pulling out a bite of Arun Jaitley, leader of the BJP, saying this about judges and their post-retirement appointments.
Pre-retirement judgments are influenced by the desire of a post-retirement job.
Not just politicians, even former judges waded into the debate. Former Chief Justice of J&K High Court, Justice Bashir Khan, today questioned the judge's appointment after retirement, saying that they mustn't make compromises for such positions.
Lately, we have been seeing former Chief Justices falling for small things like a Rajya Sabha seat, deciding a very important and crucial judgment of, for example, Ayodhya a month back, and next month falling for a Rajya Sabha seat, and now this judge falling again for a governor's position. What's happening? Now, what are people going to think about it? These things raise suspicions. It is not necessary that it may be a quid pro quo between Ayodhya judgment and the governorship. That may not be the case.
Now, the BJP has hit back at the opposition parties and other critics for questioning the appointment. BJP National General Secretary B.L. Santosh said that the ecosystem is quick to believe that Abdul Nazeer's biggest sin was the fact that he agreed with other judges when it came to the Sri Ram Janmabhoomi judgment. They're asking, is that a crime?
There is a lot of unemployed congressmen who react on issues which are serious consequences. A member of the minority has been given one of the highest posts in the state as the governor. And just because he was in the judiciary, they question his credentials, his integrity. It's shocking that Congress party that talks about protection of minority, when a minority person has been appointed the governor of Andhra Pradesh, they react the way. Are they anti-minority? Are they against the Muslims of this country?
So was this elevation about merit or was it some sort of a quid pro quo? To understand that, I'm now joined by Tushar Gupta, senior editor of Swarajya, Anurag Naidu, who is an author. Also joins me Sameer Singh, SP spokesperson, is with us on this broadcast. Anirban Banerjee, who is a political analyst. But my first question goes to you, Lokesh Jindal of the Congress. I know we've heard a series of bites coming in from your party members as well as others in the opposition objecting to this particular appointment, but I really want to understand what is it that disqualifies Abdul Nazeer from becoming the governor of Andhra Pradesh?
If we look at the remarks that were made during the Constituent Assembly by K.T. Shah and B.R. Ambedkar, they clearly stated that the judges must restrain themselves from accepting any political position. Secondly, if you talk about Article 12, it clearly defines what the state is. So Article 12, read with Article 32, read with Article 50, which directs the state to have a division between executive and the judiciary. And moreover, if I talk about Article 124, Clause 7 of the Constitution, all these in entirety state that in order to have an independent judiciary, in order to have theory of checks and balances, separation of power, it is very important that judicial functionaries must be insulated from the political, executive and the legislative framework. Now, recently we saw Justice Gogoi getting a Rajya Sabha seat, and now we have a judge who had been delivering very important judgment as much as triple talaq, then going for the Ayodhya Ram Temple issue, and even demonetization issue is being offered a governor post, which is a executive post. It's a part of the government. Now, this doesn't taste well. It doesn't go with the ethics and the principles for which the judiciary stands. Okay, you might say that Article 124, Clause 7, it only restricts a judge from pleading in any court of law. So,
but sir, if I may stop you there, it's very interesting that you club triple talaq and Ayodhya judgment together. Does being a part of both those verdicts disqualify him? Because I thought that the Congress was objecting to pro-Modi government verdicts only. He wasn't in favor of triple talaq. He was the dissenting judge.
See, when I'm talking about a person delivering judgments, whether it is with respect to triple talaq or... With
so your objection is to the larger cooling off period and judges being appointed, not in particular to this particular judge.
Let me... Now, over here, the party was the state, was the government. So when I'm talking about issues such as the Ayodhya Ram Temple issue, over here, one of the party was the state, the government. And when a judge is supposed to deliver justice, where one of the parties, the government itself, you cannot expect that judge to get some, posts and favors after the person is done away with his tenure. Come on, it is just January 2023 that a judge is relieved of his duty. He is retired, and on 12th of February 2023, he's made the governor. It doesn't go well with the principles of judiciary.
We get your point. Tushar Gupta, how are people supposed to trust the judgments being given by the judges if we know that a couple of months later they are going to be given some lucrative post by the same government? Wouldn't that dissuade them theoretically from taking judgments that could be adverse to their own prospects later, as has been very adequately said by Arun Jaitley and quoted by the rivals today?
But what does the post of a governor of Andhra Pradesh have to do with the judgments that Justice Nazeer delivered? And talking of Congress, they anyway do not believe in the judiciary. Rahul Gandhi, in his interviews to many foreign journalists, time and again has stressed that how the judiciary is no longer worthy of trust in India. So let's keep the Congress's concerns aside. Should there be a cooling off period? Absolutely yes. I do not disagree to the idea of a cooling off period. But my problem is that Congress is today raising allegations against the integrity of the Apex Court of India, Priya. Look, you can criticize a judgment, you can speak against it, you can be critical about it, we all do that. But to say that we do not trust the judgment of a justice because he's following a constitutional process, he and the government being elected as the governor, that is wrong. You have a problem with the cooling off period not being there, that's absolutely right. But do not use that as an excuse to question mark the integrity of the Apex Court of India. And one another point, Priya. Does the Congress not believe in the issue of privacy, individual privacy? They do. And Justice Nazeer upheld that. But did Justice Nazeer also go with triple talaq when it came to the government? He did not. So let's not make it about one judgment, which is the Ram Janmabhoomi movement, and then use it to criticize the justice in question. That's absolutely wrong. That's politics of convenience by the Congress.
Sameer Singh, is it a politics of convenience? Because when it comes to CJIs being promoted to positions that can help the government, this is not the first time that this has happened.
Definitely not, but the BJP has to, set up a propaganda, set up an angle, so they would, they would not see the obvious, or they don't want others to see the obvious, but it's too much of a coincidence. I mean, if you're talking about the Ram Temple case, it's a landmark case, it's a historical case, and when a second judge of the same bench who's pronounced the judgment, a second judge receives a reward, you can't just plainly pass it off as some coincidence and not ask, do not expect people to raise questions about it. We saw how the retired Chief Justice of India, Justice Ranjan Gogoi, was granted a Rajya Sabha seat, and now Justice Nazeer has been appointed as the Andhra Pradesh Governor. So first of all, there is nothing wrong in appointing a judge as a governor, but the thing is, when you're associated with such classic cases, and the classic cases have delivered judgments in favor of the government, questions are bound to raise. You can't expect people to not question or just pass it off as a mere coincidence, or we're not questioning the integrity of a judge. But then, as the clip played by you, in which Arun Jaitley clearly said, now Arun Jaitley is a former statesman of the BJP, but he himself reiterated that pre-retirement judgments are post-retirement prospects. So why give rise to such questions? Why create situations?
Sir, it's very interesting that you're quoting a bite that has been put out by the Congress leaders, because if you go a bit further in that interaction, here is what the response to that was, and it came from Manish Tiwari of the Congress, who said that rather than casting aspersions by insinuation, Jaitley should have the conviction of saying certain things squarely if he knows them to be true. If I could ask you, do you know anything that goes in favor of your argument to suggest that this particular judge was biased when he gave that judgment and is going to be biased in exercising his duties as the governor? Mr. Jindal, yes, you can respond to that.
Are you directing
Sure.
that question to
See, when you are immediately offering political positions to judges who have just completed their tenure, you are setting up a precedent of the government rewarding those judges who are delivering judgments in their favor. So it's like creating a precedent. Don't you think it is bound to impact the judgment of another judges with respect to other issues? So when we are talking about such form of politicization of judges, it is also causing politicization of judiciary, and it is also interfering in the independence of judiciary.
Right, and let me give you an example how this interferes. Justice Baharul Islam, who retired in January 1983 from Supreme Court, was nominated to the House of Elders by Indira Gandhi. This happened in June 1983, which is barely 5 months after he retired. He was alleged to have given relief to the then Bihar Chief Minister Jagannath Mishra in the Patna Urban Cooperative Bank scam case. But Tushar Gupta, since you've been raising your hand, and my friend from SP only listed 2 judges, let me get you 2 more. Justice Ashok Bhushan has been appointed to NCLAT just 3 months after giving that Ram Janmabhoomi verdict. Justice Bobde was seen with Mohan Bhagwat as well. So in a time when people say that, the judges, not only Caesar, but Caesar's wife should also be above suspicion, isn't the opposition's argument a little bit valid?
But he sat on 458 benches, Priya, 93 judgments. A lot of them had to do with civil cases. Why is the opposition narrowing down to the Ram Temple issue? Somehow they want to create a perception that the judiciary is playing with the government to give out decisions that are not in the larger interests of the country. My problem is with the perception they're trying to create. If you indeed have a problem with the former justice now holding a post of the governor, which is not political. That's not a political post. He's a representative of the president in the state. That's not very political, first of all. But if you have a problem, why not scrutinize all the 93 judgments? Why is no one from the opposition coming out today and saying, oh look, he went against the idea of governments when it came to the privacy as a fundamental right? Probably that is why he's being nominated. No one is talking about all the other 92 judgments, Priya. So what is the perception that the opposition is trying to sell to the country? That's my problem. Look, again, I am in the favor of having a cool-off period. That is where I agree with the opposition. But where I disagree with the opposition is where they want to put a question mark on the integrity of the justice and the apex court at large. The justices work on facts. The Supreme Court and all the other courts of India work on facts. So why is the opposition, starting with Rahul Gandhi, hell-bent on convincing India and people who are observing India that the judiciary is not playing fair and square?
Anirban Banerjee, thank you for listening in so patiently for so long. What is your first reaction to this controversy?
See, the first point is that among the 5 people who have been appointed governors in this very list on Sunday, 4 of them are BJP leaders. And Justice Nazeer in this case, at least directly, is not associated with the BJP. Though while he was serving as an acting judge Supreme Court in 2021, he actually attended a RSS affiliated program and had opined that the Indian legal system is unsuited to the Indian population. And the next point is that the BJP, in its bid to attack the judiciary, though the BJP spokesperson here is so very vocal about the independence of the judiciary, we have seen that the Union Law Minister, Mr. Kiran Rijiju, and as well as the Vice President, Mr. Honorable Jagdeep Dhankar, has been continuously and serially attacking the judiciary. And Mr. Dhankar has also referred to the Keshavananda Bharati case and said that in that particular judgment, where the basic doctrine, the basic structure of the constitution was laid down, was actually a bad precedence. Therefore, the BJP is in no inclination to support the independence of the judiciary. It wants to own and rather destroy the independence of the judiciary. And one of those weapons in their hands is to lure, is to put a bait in front of acting judges in the form of post-retirement rehabilitation. We have seen that 3 of the 5 judges in the Ram Mandir case has already been rehabilitated. You have named them anyway. And therefore, what we believe that the judiciary, any person from the judiciary should not be offered any post by the government. Any post should not be offered. It's
Anirban Banerjee, you bring up the face-off between the government and the Supreme Court over collegium. May I ask who is the Supreme Court judge right now who's picked up the cudgels for the cause of Supreme Court and the judge's appointment be left alone?
Is of course Mr. Chandrachud, Honorable
Mr. Chandrachud was also a part of the 5-judge bench of the Supreme Court that gave Ayodhya verdict. Then you should distrust him also. And everything else that he says, just like you are distrusting the other judge.
He's still acting. He's still acting as the Chief Justice.
But then, who knows? He gave the Ayodhya verdict. Tomorrow, he also might be looking at some lucrative post being offered to him by the government. So everything that he says or does right now should also be put under the lens.
This is exactly. See, this is the point. No, ma'am, this is the point that we even have to discuss about this prospect. Even hypothetically is the problem. As you said, if Caesar's wife should be above suspicion, I will say that even Hammurabi should be above suspicion. Especially the judiciary, in many matters, is the last resort of the people. No person should be under suspicion by anybody.
Sir,
we have to even speak about it, discuss
precisely.
about it. Is rather
but the problem arises when you question not the judgment, but the integrity of the judge. Tushar Gupta, you want to say something?
See, this is the politics of convenience I was speaking about, Priya. The person in question has a problem that Justice Nazeer was seen in an RSS meeting in 2021. So he's raising a question on the accountability of it. Fair enough. But why does the opposition not support the government of the day when they warrant the same accountability in the collegium system? When it comes to accountability, when it comes to the elevation of judges, the opposition says, oh, you're strangling the judiciary. But when it comes to what suits their politics, suddenly they're very interested in the accountability of the justices. How does this hypocrisy really work?
Anurag Naidu, when you talk about hypocrisy, isn't it correct that even Nitin Gadkari himself has said that there should be a cooling off period of 2 years for the judges once they retire, because it is at the end of the day essential for everybody to have absolute unadulterated faith in the verdicts coming out of the apex court and any other court for that matter. Isn't that hypocrisy on the part of the government as well?
Yeah, Priya, I think I'm the only panelist today who is coming from Andhra Pradesh, representing the people and the youth of Andhra Pradesh. So on behalf of the state, let me take this opportunity to congratulate the appointment of Justice Abdul Nazeer, and also, thanks to Her Excellency, the President of India, who appointed him. Let me also say, yes, cooling off period is an important subject, but the thing that actually, pains me a lot is why do we attempt and why do we start doing character assassination only after the appointment is done? It was seen in the case of Mr. Gogoi as well, and now today in the case of Justice Nazeer as well. If it is about a cooling off period, let's have a separate debate. Let's bring this up in the parliament. Let's keep it open for the public scrutiny, and let's make a decision, and let's see to this matter as a holistic way. Today, if you see from a prospect of the government of Andhra or the people of Andhra Pradesh, or if Congress which is a no entity in Andhra Pradesh, both the opposition leader and the government are welcoming this move to have a judicial person on the seat of the governor. When we have law and order situations, when we have conflicts, it is a newborn state. He's the third governor of the new carved out Andhra Pradesh, and then there is by and large acceptance of his appointment, but the state needs somebody from the judicial fraternity who can understand the system, who can understand the law and order situation of the state. So why are we not, why are we taking this debate to a personal attack on Justice Nazeer, and which is very unfortunate, because people who know him, he is coming from and Karnataka, the coastal Karnataka of Madhubidri. You can go and check and ask people. He comes from a very humble and honest background. He's somebody who's known to be very bipartisan, and both the whole of state of Andhra Pradesh welcomes him. What is the problem of people sitting in Delhi making remarks on him? So we can have a separate debate when it comes to cooling off period, but let's not lead to character assassination of one person. He's, after all, His Excellency, the Governor of Andhra Pradesh now.
Sameer Singh, coming back to you on this. Tomorrow, if Justice Chandrachud gets appointed as a governor, let's say, of some state, or gets any other post, like probably a recommendation to Rajya Sabha, would you oppose that as well?
Ma'am, the entire question that has arisen today is that when a retired Supreme Court judge, because see, the judiciary, as quoted by many panelists, and I think everybody would agree to that, the judiciary is the final step for anyone in the country to receive justice, to plight for their justice. Now, if there is less for an argument say that there is nothing going on and this entire matter is not influenced by politics, but why should anybody have a question mark in their head when they when they are talking about the judiciary?
I think I didn't make myself clear. I asked a question and I have a purpose behind asking that question. My question is not about the principles of judiciary getting appointments. My question is straight. If tomorrow the current Chief Justice of India after retirement gets a post offered by the government, would you oppose it or would you be in favor of it?
Ma'am, there have been retired judges who have been appointed a lot of posts in the previous history. Also, on the contrary, there have been excellent judges like the like Justice Kaju, who have been up in arms against the, who's been very vocal about the government.
Okay, so you're saying that anybody who gives judgment that is hailed by the government should not be promoted because that will bring him in the dock. I am saying that tomorrow, if Justice Chandrachud gets an elevation post-retirement post, you will say that he was promoted because he gave a favourable verdict in Ayodhya judgment. But if he does not get anything, will you also come out and say that that is because he said that Aadhaar bill was unconstitutionally passed? Lokesh Jindal, if you could take that question.
Can you please come again?
Yes, I am saying that the same judge that today, if he gets elevated... Just as in case of Mr. Abdul Nazeer, what has happened is when you have to criticize him, you cite the Ayodhya judgment. When you have to be in favor of him, you say that, oh, he was a dissenting voice in triple talaq. So tomorrow, if let's say Justice Chandrachud gets offered a post, you will say he got the post because he was a part of the Ayodhya judgment. But if he does not get an appointment, then you will say he was sidelined, just like Justice Karju has been mentioned, because he said that Aadhaar bill was an unconstitutionally passed bill. So it is damned if you do, damned if you don't, no?
Exactly, Priya. In fact, you are supporting my argument. This particular state emerges only when judges are politicized. When you politicize the institution of judiciary...
But how is it being politicized? It is a judge giving a verdict. Ayodhya verdict was a 5-judge unanimous verdict. Who is politicizing what, Tushar Gupta?
You actually spoke you made it more clear and you strengthened my... Because
it's the politics of convenience. Priya, when you asked that question, about and stated that it's damned if you do and damned if you're not, you clearly explained the situation. The opposition is going to raise its aspersion, raise their allegations against anyone who's giving a judgment that may favor the government. It might be based on anything, but they will look, oh, it favors the government, that's what a judgment will be based on.
Right.
That is not how it works. At the end of the day, you have to decide that the verdict was given on facts and facts alone. Why are you politicizing the judgment and then complaining about the judiciary being politicized? Why about this politics?
And yes, nobody is saying that a cooling off period for judges, etc. is not a valid debate, not a valid argument, but that is a separate argument. You can always question the judges, you can always question the processes, but in this case, even the Supreme Court has said that they do not want a cooling off period, and there is nothing political about that verdict that came out in 2012. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me on this broadcast. We take a very quick break on that note.
The Newshour Special Edition.